Boy, sorry I've been absent, but I've been working day and night for the past nearly 5 days, making a lot of alligator wallets, a little over 18 to be specific. Shipped them out today. It was $280 shipping on those alligator wallets, really expensive ones for ones going overseas. I did an interesting video where it's not that I don't presume to make every video that way, and I wouldn't call this brutal honesty, but honesty. And I love reading your comments. A few of the past videos actually took more than a day to read, but I have to say I enjoyed all of it. I remember eating my roast beef sandwich. That's what we say in Kentucky, right? Sandwich. Roast beef sandwich. And reading your comments. And it's query. Some of them are very interesting, most of which I obviously blatantly understood, and I was just nodding my head and agreeing with the comments, and other ones I was replying to. Some of them were quite interesting. And I repeated a couple of things like health care. It's not about your health, and they don't actually care. Everybody seemed to love that one. I've not actually heard that pun before. Let me be incredibly honest about a few things that are going on. And I am not a person that has ever spurned to emotionality, irrationality, or being illogical. Emotions are meant for certain things. Of course, the ability for people to weed where emotions should be used and where they shouldn't be used, separates the men from the boys, as they say. Emotions should be reserved for your family, your wife or husband, and your children, about enjoying a good movie, whether it be a scary movie or whatnot, listening to fine music, whatever that genre is, but not about things that are important to your life and your well-being. And we've all failed on one aspect or another. I mean, obviously I've failed in the fact that I'm not physically fit. I used to be super skinny. My earliest video is like 128 pounds. People see some of those old videos and they reply back to me, like, geez, what happened to you? Moved to Florida after my wife died and lost a lot of weight. It was absolute hell taking care of her, slowly dying over 10 years from a giant brain tumor. But we've all failed at certain aspects in life. Doesn't matter if a person is extremely rich and supposedly successful. I guarantee you, whoever that person is on earth, they have drastically failed on some key important aspect of life. And the nature of that is that there's only so much time somebody has in life. And you and me and anybody else in this world shouldn't beat up on ourselves. As long as we're wholesome, good people, everything else would take care of itself. Because this world was a mess before you came into it, and it'll be a mess after you leave it. The earth revolves in cycles as far as its culture and society. Remember that old phrase? Everybody seems to be repeating it now. What is it? Good times lead to soft men, meaning, spineless. Soft men lead to bad times leads to hard men, meaning tough, righteous men and women, lead to good times. The whole thing repeats itself over and over and go over. Timeless. It is absolutely timeless. The ancient Indians called that samsara, which literally means to go round and around. I'm going to talk about some things that we should be considering that I notice a lot of people that really are, and they're just so busy with their lives. And I do get it. I really do. What I'm actually doing, and since I have several jobs and off the scene, however, the past week or so, I've been radically busy. I feel like I was nearly killed by making those wallets. I was up to 5:30 in the morning last night and 4 a.m. before that. But we're all trying to make ends meet, and I know that. And here is something that's going on, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty, is that right now everybody's running off of credit. What is it? Something like 85% of Americans, and there's not much difference between that and Europeans, if they had like a $400 emergency bill, it went from $1,000 down to $400. 85% of people couldn't come up with $400 to find an emergency meeting to, make some sort of emergency go away, like flat tires, radiators broken, stuff like that. It's getting critical, and everybody's living on credit. And the piggy bank is making a bigger noise. Now, a piggy bank, analogously and accurately, don't make bigger noises because they're full of more money. They're making a bigger noise because they're more hollow. empty, what is that, empty kettles? I think it's an ancient Chinese saying. It said empty kettles make the biggest noise. In other words, if somebody has wisdom and insight, they usually don't say anything. It's the empty, brainless people that, who make the biggest noises, and this is true through a lot of things, especially what's going on right now. Here's a prediction I made years ago, not that you have to go back and verify it, but people recall me saying this when all of this insanity started happening. A lot of you saw this insanity coming, and so did I. I didn't know it would manifest exactly in this way. That I said that people would be going more and more nuts. I won't talk about the tragedies and the awful thing that happened in the past few days, like the one in Texas, and there was another one in Texas. But they happen anywhere and everywhere. I predicted accurately that that would be going off the charts, and that's exactly what's happening. And not that I watched the news, but I was doing leather work and I had the news playing in the background and all these talking head fools on the news like, it seems to be happening more and more lately. I was like, I predicted this with 100% accuracy. I said that would happen. And the useful idiots will cry out for certain tools not to be had by people, which, of course, anybody that fundamentally believes in, like, declawing a cat, that's natural order. Human beings don't have claws. We don't really have teeth. I'm a firm believer, whether you could disagree or not, in our fundamental sovereign right to self-protection of ourselves and our family. And I am not going to be forsaken my rights, nor should you be of yours, because some lunatic here or there does something. But I predicted that those things would happen. As things get more and more critical, the crust of between society and chaos would grow thinner and thinner. And I've said this many, many, many times, is that society is the thinnest crust over the most giant and dangerous volcano imaginable. Let me give you a lesson from my wife, who I think actually work killed her. I think, I could be wrong, but I think my wife's endless jobs killed her. She was living in Emeryville, which is East Bay, San Francisco. She was not only working as a nurse in St. Mary's Hospital, she's also doing after-hours work, doing home patients. And it's like impossible to park in San Francisco. So the struggle to make ends meet. My wife was not only working full-time in the hospital, she was also working 2 side gigs to make ends meet. And when the crash of 2008 happened, this is what happens from listening to experts. Once in a while, this is kind of a broad spectrum video, but it's incredibly important, and it's a lesson everybody should pay attention to and heed. Is that all these people, like, I'll get criticized, well, who are you? Where's your degree? How could you refute Einstein? These people that actually appeal to authority, which is actually a fallacy. There's no such thing as an authority in a formal debate. There's only experts and novices. People actually, hold up, like the god of quantum is literally Richard Feynman. Yet I tell everybody, the god of quantum that you keep talking about, quantum is real, there's a lot of PhD people believe in it. Where's your PhD? Oh, blah, 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 blah. I love it when they say that. Where's your PhD? Quantum is real. It's like, no, it's not. There's nothing in it. Yeah, sure it is. Where's your PhD at? I said, the god of quantum. If you go on a YouTube video, type in Feynman explains magnetism. It's like 7 minutes long. There's like hundreds of copies of it all over the internet. And if you can watch that 7-minute video and think that guy actually, it gets within 1,000,000 miles of explaining magnetism, I will send you, not that I have it, I'll send you $100. It's ridiculous. This guy knows nothing. And my wife, just as most people are out there, when the crash in 2008 happened, she was listening to all these retirement experts, and she lost. My wife was literally working herself into an early grave, which I think is what gave her the brain tumor. Yes. And she lost about 60% of her portfolio for her retirement. My wife worked her ass off, multiple jobs, was working herself to the bone. She literally, I think it's what killed her. But not only that, most of her money was just vanish like a fart in the wind. It's like, oh yeah, all that hard work you did, more than half of it's gone. It's out there somewhere. There's like a famous South Park episode where the little kid goes and deposits a check in the bank, and then the guy behind the counter at the bank, he says, I just invested your money into so-and-so's, and it's gone. And then he gives him like another $100, I believe. He says, hey, we're going to invest this money, and it's gone. And these are the people that people consider experts. I laugh every time someone tries to make an appeal to authority. I mean, oh, you're not a doctor. Yeah, where's your PhD? How could you know anything about particle physics and field theory? Bully! Bully, bully, bully. This is because I'm smart. I can actually debate the topic with ease and alacrity, and these other people cannot. And the point I'm actually making, how this applies to your daily life, is you're listening to all these so-called gurus out there that are not only gurus, they're leading you off a cliff like a pack of lemmings. I've been asked a bunch recently about gold. I don't pretend to be an investment advisor. I don't pretend to be that at all, not even close. But I know for 100% certainty right now, right here, right now, with my soul on the line, that gold is a horrific purchase. Its true value is around $800. For well over 3 decades, platinum has been equal to or over that of gold. Right now, platinum is an incredible buy. You want to invest in something very, very small and yet very valuable? Platinum. Some people will say palladium or iridium, but no, most people don't know what palladium or iridium is. But everybody's heard of white gold. There's actually no such thing as white gold. I mean, there's rhodium and platinum and palladium that's considered white gold, however, typically so-called white gold. And there's no such thing as white gold as platinum. Platinum is an incredible buy right now. Gold is a horrific buy. The only people that should be buying it are banks and governments, and those are the people that are buying it. They're actually trying to hedge out the United States dollar and back their garbage currency with gold, and that, of course, gives it credence. There are several countries that have been for the past few years, China and Russia and some others, that are buying tons and tons and tons and tons of gold. You as a person, even if you're a millionaire, should not be investing in gold. You do whatever you want, I don't care, but platinum is the thing to buy, and if not platinum, then certainly so silver, and or both. Stop hoarding bottled water. Stop hoarding toilet paper. Stupid people go out and buy bottled water. Really stupid people go out and buy bottled water stored in plastic. Don't do it. Buy water filtration. There's water everywhere. Certain things, water filtrations will not filter out, but most of the things you find in creeks and rivers, unless it's near a toxic spill up in Ohio, it will filter out the cryptosporidia, blah, 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 and the water. Yeah? Water filtration, and knowing about water filtration is incredibly important. Don't hoard toilet paper and bottled water. Anyway, from the lesson from my wife is, getting back to her, is that she basically killed herself, overworking herself to death, and the investment gurus, the experts that know everything, I have an investment 401k, retirement specialist. You know nothing. You're working like a $45,000 a year job, pretending to people you know something. These people that have worked their entire lives trust you. You know, I hate to say it, but my wife trusted an idiot. But so did most of the other people that worked at that hospital and countless billions of other places. Try an investment guru here to tell you where to stick your money for your retirement. And it's gone. Asset diversification is incredibly important. You should be investing in stuff that the government can't print. Platinum, silver, land, other things, some things which won't be mentioned. Gold is a horrific buy. Anyway, I predicted years ago that people would be going nuts, and that's exactly what's happening. Used to be considered conspiratorial. When you talk about central bank digital currency or digital currency from like FedNow. It's the United States version. Canada has their own. Australia. Actually, is it Denmark or Australia? It's Australia. They're actually setting up these training programs where they're brainwashing people with propaganda how great and important and awesome digital currency is. In other words, they're trying to brainwash people. In an age of inversion, which is where we're at, the Indians would call this the Kali Yuga. In an age of inversion, a wise person can actually learn from evil people. It's like they'll immediately identify non-verbally, like this is an evil person trying to propagate. You can listen to them, and all you have to do is just take the inverse of everything they say, kind of like the government. Anyway, we're in an age of inversion. Wisdom people can listen to evil people and actually learn things from them. I use this in bowdlerization, where they actually take out important passages or they gloss over them. In mistranslation, as a polytranslator, I see where they bowdlerize stuff, especially the soul-denying nihilists that translate ancient Pali. It's like I recognize it immediately. I know all the words that they use to cover. Well, I don't like this soul word. I'm going to cover that up with this word. Maybe people won't see it. because basically nobody translates an ancient dead language that's dead 2,000 years ago. But I know exactly what they do. There's that old sayings like Jimmy Hoffa, or what's it, the mafiosos, like they know where the bodies are buried. Yeah, you ever heard that saying? They know where that person's dangerous because not literally bodies. I know where the bodies are at. In other words, you really know what's going on. And people that want to treat you like mushrooms, feed you poo, and keep you in the dark, they hate people that talk with each other, communicate, which is why they're trying to shut everybody's mouths down on the internet, which they are. But also true. There's the fact check. You know, the fact checkers never came out. So the fact checkers never actually raised their head like a gopher raising its head out of a hole in the ground until the truth started coming out. You notice that? Fact checkers only stepped in when the truth started coming out. Did you ever notice that fact? Did you ever notice that? The only time when fact checkers stepped into things and started blocking everything is when the truth started coming out. Is that conspiratorial? Because it can't be conspiratorial because it's 100% accurate. One occurred at the exact same time the other. We can't have the truth getting out. We need to fact check those facts. We can't have those facts getting out. We need to fact check them. Oh, God. Now, since the world is in an age of inversion, good is bad, bad is good, we have this really horrible view that being boys are bad. It's like being strong and independent is bad. In other words, all of society, at least Western society especially, is trying to make everybody into a spineless simp. There's a great new word that wasn't used back like about 10 years ago. Simp. You know, just it's a spineless jellyfish. Like, oh, that's testosterone speaking. That's your privilege and testosterone. It's like, no, I'm interested in facts, logic, and wisdom, not your brainwashing and propaganda. If that makes me a strong person, which is not testosterone-based, it means it's based in fact, logic, and wisdom. Yeah, it doesn't, no. The people don't like strong, intelligent people that think for themselves because it keeps them from brainwashing you with their propaganda. Doesn't mean that they have the idea that, like, if you're a strong, independent thinker, then you're like some sort of cigar-smoking male stereotype that like smacking women on their behinds, like, "Hey, baby," you know, that stereotypical male machismo, and that's just absolutely ridiculous. Just totally ridiculous. Think about tangibles. Soon it's going to be the case that the only thing that's going to have any valuable is tangibles. Learn about yourself and your tangibles, how to protect them, how to hide them, how to flee yourself and to flee them, and also, too, at the last resort. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you use it as a last resort. I know how to defend against them being taken, or, you know, yourself being, you know, dropped into the hole. Remember where those videos started popping out in certain countries? I'll let you take a guess which one country it happened. Where they were locking people in their own apartments, like drilling screws into the door frame, literally screwing them shut into their own doors. Remember that? Remember when those videos started creeping out? Remember that? This is what happens when a government, by the way, declaws and defangs you. They have complete... Nobody's afraid of a declawed, defanged, and neutered cat. Here's a real question I ask you. All of society, since it is currently in an age of inversion, is extremely interested in having each individual member of society neutered, spayed or neutered, declawed and defanged. Do you know why? The answer is really simple. Because nobody fears a declawed, defanged, neutered cat. Because the declawed, defanged, spayed or neutered cat just sits in the corner over there, you know, getting fat. I kind of resemble that, right? Getting fat, eating bonbons, you know, laying on its back. It's like, oh, look at this nice, soft, fuzzy cushion my master gave me. Yeah, he did. He gave you a nice little soft polyester cushion. Yeah, feeding you up. Kind of like plumping up a turkey before the harvest, right? There's no entity that's afraid of a declawed, defanged, and spayed or neutered cat. They're trying to do the exact same thing to society. They really, really, truly are. They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you congregating together and talking with one. You know, this happened to Bob. Yeah, oh, really? And then, you know, the word of mouth spread. They don't want that. They're trying to divide you and me against me and you. That's not my opinion or feeling or belief that that's happening. That's exactly what's going on now. Do not listen to emotional, irrational, and insane people. People that are impulsive. Emotions are meant for your family and movies and children. You know, your food you eat, stuff like that. You should not be looking at the world with rose-colored glasses of emotions. People right now are going nuts, and they're basically huffed too much of their own fumes. In other words, sniffing their own flatulence, living in their own nutshell, and they're starting to go crazy. Everybody's living on credit, and the credit well is running dry. Very, very quickly, the credit well is running dry. Here's something else I know that you and 99% of nobody else out there knows, is that things can turn on a dime so fast it would make your head spin. It's like, everything's so fine. I go to the grocery store, I go on Amazon, order my favorite garbage. Everything's fine. Past 2 years are really tough, but I'm in a financial bind. But, you know, I've got 3 credit cards, and I'm barely paying them off, but I'm making it, barely. It's about that far away from turning on a dime. You can feel it. I know it's coming. You think that's fear-mongering? It's not, because I can't stand people that fear-monger. So let's just be logical here. Everybody out there is living on credit. Things turn on a dime, and things are about to turn on a dime. And that's not my feeling that it's going to happen. It's that it is going to happen. Chance favors a prepared mind. Think about tangibles. Everybody should consider what percentage of whatever it is that they have to buying necessary tangibles. Backup power, solar power, non-perishable foods, water filtration, and a piece of land. Turns out a guy I know, that farm that I listed, which I get no kickbacks from, the cabin with the 17-acre, turns out a buddy of mine got it. Well, not a buddy, it's a guy I know. He's a really nice guy. It's like, of all the people I showed it to out there, he's the one that got it. So I didn't know that until yesterday. It's like, oh, me and the wife bought that piece of land you were showing it. So, oh, really? That's fascinating. So CBDC is coming, and there's no greater spawn of Satan than central bank digital currency. And it is coming, and that was considered, oh, that's never going to happen. Not only is it going to happen, it's absolutely going to happen. The various governments around the world have admitted it's coming. And other than literal enslavement under lock and key and having your arms and legs in chains, there's no greater evil than this CBDC that's coming. Absolutely not. And this is where tangibles are going to be worth far more than gold. But gold is a horrible value, even if you're filthy rich. If I had $1 billion and I was planning on sticking 20% of it, which is a lot, into precious metals, it would still not be gold. Horrible buy. Its true value right now is about $800. Platinum, however, is a perfect buy, and so is silver right along with it. I don't pretend to be an investment advisor. No way, no how. I love reading your comments. Just understand that this world is under inversion. It's kind of like listening to an evil person. Whatever it is with wisdom, whatever it is they say, you could nod your head, but you know the exact opposite of what they said and implied is actually the truth. And that is exactly what's going on now. Have a lovely week. Here, I'm going to have to recover from all those wallets I made. They nearly killed me. I'm serious. It was a lot of work. 5 days until 5 in the morning. Man, my hand's still stiff from cutting and pounding leather. Whew. Thank you.